everybody, welcome back to Coyote Clockwork. Appreciate you checking out my channel. If you have ever seen this is the #1 image result for horse drawing tutorial, and I did it about 10 years ago. So since it's so popular, I thought I would do a much more in-depth kind of tutorial because I know a lot more about horses. Horses are pretty scary. Can't imagine why. A lot of people seem to think that they're the most difficult animal to draw. I disagree. I think humans are. I made the decision to draw horses way more than people because I'm a horse girl and I never stopped. So today, hopefully, I'm going to give you some good rules of thumb for how to visualize the horse. The first rule of thumb here, squarish. Now, the reason I say this is a lot of people tend to think of horses as rectangles, and that's not right. When you view a horse, you'll end up with like, hey, look. Like, this is a horse, right? It's a rectangle. And you'll end up with a horse that has like a back that's too long, and it'll look out of proportion, basically. And what we want to do here is cut the head off. Not like that. So don't think rectangle when you're drawing a horse, especially the body. Just think square. Not all horses are completely square, but this is like it has kind of a long back. I've got a couple different breeds here, and if you look at, the proportions of everything, don't worry about the head and neck for now because this is just the body. Now, this is like a Spanish breed. This is an Andalusian, and they tend to have really short backs. Morgan, also a breed that kind of has a short back. When you are looking at proportion for horses, don't think rectangle. You will end up with a kind of disproportionate kind of animal. And when you can think of things in simple terms, you will be much better off. So, in keeping with that, we're going to move on to the simplest way to draw a horse, which is the 3 circles method. And this is just taking 3 circles that represent the main part of the horse, which is the shoulder, the barrel, and the haunches, or the croup, if whatever you want to call it, is the back of the horse. So the shoulders are this kind of wedge shape. The top of the shoulders are called the withers, and the chest opens up into kind of allowing the beginning of the lungs and heart. So you're just dealing with this relatively simple shape. I would recommend that you practice these shapes in your sketchbook. Just over and over and over, draw this very simple wedge shape as much as you can and from as many different angles as you can. And you will represent the withers. The barrel is kind of like a piece of macaroni or like a sausage that's cut into pieces. The horses have very large intestines, very large lungs, and that's basically where the body is. The spine is very rigid in comparison to other animals. That's why horses make good riding animals. So you're never gonna like bend this little hose or macaroni shape. It's pretty much always going to be stationary like this because this is the thoracic region of the horse. The thoracic area of the spine doesn't move. So you could draw it as this very simplified piece. The haunches are kind of like a quarter of pie from the side. Like if you cut a pie into 4ths from the side, that's what the haunches look like. And then you can put this little divot in that represents basically the groin, the area between the legs. And again, it's a very, very simple shape. Draw it 50 times and you will get very, very comfortable with basic visualization of the horse. So I think it's really interesting to do these shapes, but you don't necessarily have to, and I don't. And okay, so what have we learned? Maybe we don't want to do those complicated shapes. Maybe we just want to do 3 circles. So here are your 3 circles combined with the squarish shape, thing that is not quite a rectangle. Cut it in half. That's probably your barrel. This is like a younger horse or like a thoroughbred because the legs are a little high. But these are decent proportions, and you can map them out correctly by just using your 3 circles and your square. And then of course when you start looking at things in perspective, it can still stay 3 circles and a square. It just becomes like a cube and some spheres. And this is just a very basic drawing. This is supposed to help you with where are your landmarks, where are other points of the body in relation to other points of the body. You can use this as a blueprint, but just about any horse anatomy will give you these same parameters. You know, the legs are pretty simple. They're right below the withers. You know, you can drop a straight line from the point of the withers to the back of the elbow. The heel usually tends to line up with a 90-degree angle, or again, a straight line from the point of the buttock down to the ground. A lot of this is conformation stuff. It's like what people look for in ideal horses. So if you know, like, your conformation rules, that can help you draw a better horse. But again, you see the thirds here in 1, 2, 3, withers, barrel, haunches, and then the fourth, or the forequarter, is basically the neck and head. So then that's all well and good to have a horse that's neatly standing and behaving itself. How do you put this kind of stuff into action? It's the same thing. Just start with your 3 circles and build your anatomy on top of that. The 3 circles can pretty much determine your perspective, your pose, where the animal is, what it's doing, what its mood might be. You can catch a lot of that in just very simple steps. And this is what I'm doing. You know, these are the kind of things that I drew in the margins of my notebook over and over and over again. That they were just horses doing various stuff and facing different directions and doing different things, and eventually you get confident with what you're doing. And it's very easy for me to draw horses in any position and to visualize them very easily, doing all sorts of stuff, galloping, grazing, facing away from you, facing towards you, marching, prancing. You know, here I do a little bit of the perspective, so you can see the horse is kind of turning a little bit. All of this stuff is just rote. It's very easy to practice over and over and over again and get better horses. And this is why the body is very important to get right, because every other part of the horse depends on your body being correct. And this is how you practice good horse bodies. So that for this tutorial, I'm going to do like a full-on piece here, just using the method I just talked about and painting. So you're welcome to pause the video and follow along. I hope that this was helpful to you. If you liked it, subscribe, scroop snipe, ring the bell. I'll see you guys next time. This has been Coyote Clockwork.